All right. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry, kaagising ko lang. It's a weekend. Papabili lang yung anak ko ng breakfast from McDonald's. So anyway, salamat pala sa mga nanood ng mga last few episodes natin. Nakita ko madami sa inyo yung nanood ng episode about talking about my life, saan ako nanggaling. And tawagin nyo na lang ako Mang Temi. When I started to think about creating this, baka marami akong mga cool things na magawa, ma-share. However, hindi yan yung reality ngayon ng buhay dito sa US. Pero nandun din yung commitment kasi in telling the truth. Siyempre, hindi naman natin pwedeng i-romanticize lagi ang mga bagay. Like, kung nasa US ka, you'll just show the good things, you know. If you find value sa mga topics na to, pinag-uusapan natin, please consider subscribing. Maraming salamat sa panonood. Anyway, I'll head out. As usual, ito lang yung ginagawa ko para lang may kausap ako habang nagmamaneho. So, let's go. Okay, so hapon na. Nawala ako sa rhythm kanina. Anyway, gusto kong pag-usapan is kung Amerika nga ba is still the land of opportunity nowadays. It's been one could argue it's been insane for the past I would say actually past decade. Even the last few weeks, yung sabi ko nga na merong isang right-wing personality dito na inambush in broad daylight and for everyone to see 4K, 8K, whatever. Ganun na kainit ang political climate dito sa US. But I'd like to talk more about, for example, yung middle class. Middle class, it's still existing in this country, pero it's getting smaller by the year. A lot more people are struggling. Merong kasabihan dito sa US na pick yourself up by your bootstrap. Essentially saying, huwag kang tatamad-tamad, kayanin mo without any help. Dapat yung sarili mo kaya mong ibangon kung saan ka man galing. You have to strive and you'll be successful. Yun ang in essence American dream. Siguro pag kasi ako may mga kamag-anak ako dito, been here since the 70s. Iba nung panahon na yun eh. Pag sinabi nilang, kahit sa Amerika, kahit anong trabaho mo, basta masipag ka, hindi ka maghihirap, aasenso ka, mas gaganda buhay mo. I don't think that holds water nowadays. Dati kasi meritocracy, which is, based on merits. Kung magaling ka, makakuha ka ng degree, makapagtrabaho ka in any field, mag-excel ka eh. Di na nga actually guarantee ngayon na meron kang degree, college degree. A lot of the new graduates can't even land a job. Mahirap ang job market ngayon. And I'm saying this keeping in mind na wala ako sa sitwasyon na ganun ngayon. At least yung family ko, wala kami sa ganung situation ngayon. I don't wanna be insensitive. I just wanted to tell you guys ano yung nakikita, yung reality talaga ng panahon ngayon dito sa US. Kaya nga ngayon mas na-highlight yung mga nepotism eh. Kasi if you don't have any familial connections, mahirap na mag-succeed. Kailangan may kakilala ka, either yan sa business, corporate career mo. Even I think dyan sa atin sa Pilipinas, ngayon, mas nakikita ng mga tao, kaya ka lang successful kasi anak ka ni ganito or kamag-anak ka ni ganito or meron ka nang na-establish na connection bago ka pa man pumasok sa whatever field you are into. It's rare to see a successful person ngayon in any field who genuinely comes from the middle class. At least dito Tapos even if you're really good, college is so expensive dito sa Amerika. Karamihan ng tao dito, if they choose to go to, university, college, they mostly end up in student debt. Yung student debt na yon, buong buhay na nila yon babayaran. Napakalaki ng mga interests nun So, a lot of people namamatay na lang ng hindi nababayaran yung student debt nila. And it depends pa yun kung federal nakuha mo yung student debt mo sa federal companies or private companies. Pag private companies, ang alam ko, maipapasa pa yun dun sa pamilya mo pag nawala ka So, yung US debt, pag tiningnan nyo yung value niya ngayon, it's never been higher sa history. And in terms of sa pagtatrabaho, a lot of people here, they have double jobs, triple jobs. Mahirap talaga. 70 hours, 80 hours a week. Di ba dapat nga nagtatrabaho lang tayo 40 hours a week. Okay na yun Dapat you should have livable wage, kumbaga. Kaso dito, may statistics lately na the search for second jobs has been the highest since pandemic. Try to think about that. Kahit nagtatrabaho yung mga tao, kulang. Kasi mababa yung sweldo. And a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka pwedeng, kung eto lang yung budget mo for the entire 2 weeks or entire month, hindi ka pwedeng magkaroon ng emergency na gastos. A lot of people are one sickness away from bankruptcy, one car breakdown away, one illness away, kahit anong emergency na gastos, pwede silang magkulang. And it's sad because some people even are made to choose between putting food on the table or magbayad ng bills. So weather dito sa Amerika, papalamig na, malapit na mag-fall and winter, hindi pwedeng hindi ka nagbabayad ng bills or else mawawalan ka ng... it's just impossible to live pag ganun. Pag wala kang kuryente or wala kang gas. Yung lack of money being a limitation, you could otherwise, be successful on some things. In some way, na-experience ko yan dati Nakuwento ko lang, Nung elementary kasi kami, pag-graduate namin, yung mga top students, dyan lang ako nag-aral sa isang public school sa Pasay. Yung mga top students na offeran kami na mag-exam sa international school dati. Nandiyan pa sa Makati yun. Ngayon, nasa BGC na yan, di ba? Diyan pa yan sa Makati dati, sa Bel Air. Tapos, naalala ko, Manila Science, dyan sa Taft. Malapit sa Pedro Hill nga ba yun? And then, may isa pa. So, anyway. So, nag-take ako ng exams dyan. So, pumasa naman. In fact, dun sa Manila Science, ako lang sa school namin yung nakapasa. So, na-interview ako. Yan. Tapos, nilakad na namin yung kumbaga enrollment. So, part of it was kailangan ko magpa-physical medical exam. So, nandyan kami dati sa Pasay City General Hospital ng tatay ko. This was back in the 90s. Graduate ko lang ng elementary. Tapos, sakto, may na-meet kami na parent ng Manila Science student. Kung hindi ako nagkakamali, third year na yung anak niya at that time. So, nakikwento niya, nakikinig ako, nakwento sa tatay ko. Nag-end up, pre-internet days ito Kasi, ano ba yung internet? Nag-boom, di ba? 97, 98. So, bago pa yan ng konti. Tapos, nasabi nung magulang na napabili sila ng encyclopedia dati, ilang volumes, kasi daming research nung anak, gano'n. So, nung narinig ng tatay ko yun, napaisip siya, sabi niya, anak, hindi ka na pwede mag-aaral dyan. Wala tayong pera. And kung napanood nyo nga yung previous episode ko about saan ako nanggaling, mahirap talaga buhay dati. So, there's no way wala nga ako actually pamasahe papunta ng school dati kung mag-aaral ako sa Masay, much less makabili ng books or even at that time volumes ng encyclopedia para lang sa research. Ganun din sa international school. Ang ganda ng school dati, namangha ako, someone na galing probinsya, tapos nakita ako ng isang malaking school dati. Kaso kung hindi ako nagkakamali, wala pang ruta ng jeep dati doon. So, hindi rin ako makapasok. Kailangan mag-taxi. That's out of the equation. So, yung limitation ng, ng pera na yun, which could have otherwise, again, gave me more opportunity siguro. Mas tumalino siguro ako ng konti pa. Lumawak yung alam ko. Hindi nangyari. And on bigger scale dito, ganun din karamihan ng mga tao ngayon eh. So, nahihirapan sila. So, yung opportunity na yun, nawawala. Especially people coming from, again, working class, middle class dito. Isa pa is nung nag-migrate kami dito, originally, nasa Bay Area kami sa California. For those people who are familiar, it's one of those lugar dito sa Amerika na napakamahal ng cost of living. Pag nag-earn ka ng $100,000, you're still considered low income. That's 6-figure salary. Low income ka pa sa Bay Area. San Francisco, lahat ng mga cities na kasama dun sa counties. And there are 4 counties na ganun kamahal. Which is mind-blowing, sa totoo lang. Pag dito ka sa Midwest, pag kumikita ka ng $100,000, you're upper middle class na kaagad. So, pero pag nasa Bay Area ka, you're still considered poor. There's buying a house, for example. That starts your equity mo rin kasi yan eh, over the years. And for the Gen Zs, or yung mga younger generation, it's almost impossible right now to buy a house, start that rolling. Kumbaga yung equity mo, unless, again, meron kang pamilya na may pera, mabigyan ka ng pan-down. Kasi ang down payment dito sa bahay, at least 20%. May benefit kung bakit maganda yung 20%. Pag lower, pwede din, kaso marami kang kakompetensya ngayon. And swerte kami kasi before, lahat ng mga prices nag-shoot up, nakabili na kami ng house namin. So, was very fortunate to have done that. Kasi may mga anak ako na they're still young. And I'm genuinely worried about the future, their future. We're trying our best na ipundar na yung future nila para hopefully mabawasan yung stress nila on, hindi naman sila maging survival mode lang pagdating ng araw. Pero I'm genuinely worried about what this country would look like, 5 years, 10 years from now. Even the mental health of people, I'm worried about how would it look like, 10 years from now. And mataas na nga ang cases ng, sa lot of mental health issue dito sa US. Sa lot of depression, isolation kasi. Yung sense of community, wala, halos. Yun lang, kumbaga, if you are watching and you're living here, let me know your thoughts. Ako lang ba yung nag-aalala? So anyway, maraming salamat sa pakikinig. If you find value in this topic or ito yung sa mga topics na pag-uusapan natin, please consider subscribing. Salamat sa, I think meron na akong 5 subscribers. So maraming pong salamat. And ilang, God bless sa inyo lahat. Till the next one, peace.